Picture this. The year is 1914, and the world is on the brink of one of the most significant conflicts in human history, World War I. It's a time of great tension, with powerful nations locked in a delicate balance of alliances and rivalries. Amidst this global turmoil, a new kind of warfare is taking shape on the Western Front, the grim and grueling reality of life in the trenches. Our journey today takes us to the heart of this conflict, to the Battle of the Somme. And in this intricate web of alliances and tensions, we find ourselves at the heart of one of the war's most brutal battles, the Battle of the Somme. The Battle of the Somme, named after the Somme River in France, raged from July to November 1916. The Allies, primarily Britain and France, stood against the Central Powers, led by Germany. The Allies' strategy was a grand offensive aimed to break the deadlock of trench warfare, while Germany hunkered down, intent on maintaining their defensive line. The first days saw an intense bombardment, a prelude to the infantry attack. The stage was set for what would become one of the bloodiest battles in human history. As the battle unfolded, each side employed a variety of strategies and tactics. The Allied forces, led by the British and French armies, relied heavily on trench warfare. This defensive strategy involved digging deep into the earth to create a network of trenches that provided cover from enemy fire. On the other hand, the Central Powers, spearheaded by the Germans, utilized a different approach. They utilized their superior artillery to launch devastating attacks on the Allied lines. This artillery-centric approach was designed to disrupt the enemy's trenches and force them into the open, where they could be picked off. In the midst of all this, both sides introduced innovative strategies. The British, for instance, used tanks for the first time in history, hoping these metal beasts would break the stalemate. Despite their best efforts, neither side could gain a decisive advantage. This lack of progress and the resulting attrition would come to define the Battle of the Somme, and indeed much of World War I. The aftermath of the Battle of the Somme was grim. The landscape was a desolate wasteland, scarred by the ferocity of battle. The human cost was also staggering, with over 1 million casualties between both sides, making it one of the bloodiest battles in human history. The territorial gains, on the other hand, were modest. The Allies advanced a mere 7 miles at a tremendous cost, failing to break the German lines as initially intended. Despite this, the battle had strategic implications. It marked a shift in tactics, with the Allies realizing the futility of frontal assaults against well-entrenched opponents. The Battle of the Somme also had a profound impact on the morale of both sides. For the Allies, the high casualty rate was a bitter pill to swallow, while the Central Powers were shocked by the sheer scale of the offensive. On a broader scale, the Battle of the Somme influenced the course of World War I. It drained the German forces, forcing them to fight a defensive war, which ultimately led to their downfall. The battle also highlighted the importance of new warfare technologies, such as the tank, which played a decisive role in later battles. The Battle of the Somme marked a turning point in the war, with its effects rippling throughout the rest of the conflict. It was a stark reminder of the harsh realities of war, shaping the strategies and tactics used in subsequent battles. Behind these staggering numbers were real people, with real stories. Imagine a young British soldier, barely out of his teens, huddled in the muddy trenches, penning a letter home, his hands shaking not just from the cold, but from the fear and anticipation of what tomorrow might bring. Picture a French nurse, tirelessly tending to the wounded, her heart aching with every life she couldn't save. In the heartland, families were torn apart, parents losing sons, wives losing husbands, children losing fathers. The Battle of the Somme was not just fought on the front lines, it was fought in the hearts and minds of all those affected. The cost of this battle was not just counted in territories gained or lost, but in the human lives irreversibly changed. Each casualty, each life lost was a story cut short, a potential unfulfilled. The Battle of the Somme was not just a series of strategic moves on a map, it was a human tragedy on an unimaginable scale. The Battle of the Somme left a lasting imprint on the course of World War I and history itself. Its legacy is far-reaching, reshaping warfare tactics and influencing the outcome of the Great War. The battle stands as a stark reminder of the human cost and the horrors of war. It also underlines the courage and resilience of those who fought in the face of overwhelming adversity. As we remember this brutal battle, we encourage you to delve deeper into the annals of history, to understand the sacrifices made and lessons learnt from World War I.